everyone. This is David Murphy, publisher of the National Black Unity News. I want to welcome you to my interview with Miss Dr. Charis James. And I'm going to let her introduce herself. But one of the things that we do with the National Black Unity News is to highlight, to bring more information about those who participate in the National Black Unity News. And before we get started, I just want to personally thank and welcome Dr. Charis James to the
Thank you.
National Black Unity family. She has a page inside this current issue, and hopefully she will be in many more because she has some exciting news to share with us and some powerful, life-altering services that she has to offer us. And so we're going to go ahead and get started again. Welcome. Can you introduce yourself? Let people know who you are and what do you do.
So I'm Dr. Charis James. I'm a family medicine and obesity medicine board certified physician. I've been family medicine, so pretty much primary care for like the last decade or so, over a decade, and in the Baltimore area, and love that. I worked as an employed physician for many, many years in the insurance world, and more recently, I decided to open up my own practice. So I founded Pure Health. So I'm now the founder of Pure Health and Wellness, which is focused on give providing higher level of primary care services as well as some wellness services. So in summary, family medicine doctor at heart, but I do a lot of metabolic health with a big focus on obesity medicine right now.
Now, you mentioned something about obesity. Can
Yes.
you elaborate a little bit more on that? How this service actually works?
Okay. So first of all, obesity is co- actually it is a medical condition, even though we've recognized it many years or it's been treated as some sort of behavioral issue. It really is a chronic medical condition where someone ends up gaining a excessive amount of weight, mostly fat mass, that is more than is healthy for them to carry around. And that can result in a host of issues, including, first of all, the biggest part is the cardiovascular impact, right? So it increased heart attack risk, increased stroke risk, increased risk of diabetes, high blood pressure, but there's also a huge impact on joints, quality of life, confidence, and we see huge correlations with mental health issues when we have someone who is overweight or considered obese. And it is definitely a growing issue in our country and worldwide, actually. And there are so many factors. I guess we'll get more into that, but it is a huge issue that is really plaguing our society and it's really impacting the quality of life of individuals from every age group, from childhood to elderly.
Let me ask you something before we go any further. I just want people to know a little bit more about you. Well, first of all, why did you choose this particular profession to go into?
So that's a great question. So first of all, always had an interest in medicine and biology, and I grew up seeing like my mom as a nurse. That really inspired me. The way she interacted with patients, helped people, and the way that I could really see that she impacted life, that inspired me to go into this field of medicine. I went into it, I fell in love with being able to have that connection with patients, for not just as a specialist where you would see them once and that's probably done or a couple of times and done, but I get to see them as they age, as they grow up. And I do see from childhood, from babies to some, we say from birth to the grave, right? So I see everything, and I get to see that continuity of care. I get to see the child, the mother, the grandmother, the auntie, the uncles, all that. And I get to build relationships with people, and I feel like I have more of a chance to impact. How did I get to where I'm at today? Well, as I was living my life as in my career as a family medicine doctor and a primary care physician, I'm seeing so many people suffer. And the thing that they were suffering most from was these metabolic issues, the obesity, the high blood pressure, the diabetes. And I was in particularly seeing how the way that we treat currently, the way that we provide care with a current medical system, it was not catering to people's needs. We were moving too fast. We weren't slowing down and listening to them and being able to really get what's plaguing them, really what the barriers are with nutrition, with lifestyle. We didn't have enough time to slow down and educate them on why this is happening. And as a result, I saw a lot of suffering. So I saw amputations, heart attacks, strokes, death, dementia, because of the lack of time, the lack of education that I think a model like the model that I'm trying to develop at my clinic right now can slow down and help people understand the conditions that they have and really help them heal. And another reason why I opened my practice Pure was so that I can create these relationships where people can have a provider that they trust and that they can feel that they're listened to. I can't tell you how many times that was one of the bigger driving factors too for me. How many times people said to me, "Thank you for listening." I would have people go home and a week later they send me an email. You know what? I was just reflecting. I thank you for letting me allow me to say everything. I really left there feeling heard. And that was, first of all, shocking to me that people really were having these experiences. You hear it, but you really see it in front of you that they're really struggling with these experiences of not just being not heard. And so Pure is a place where people can be heard. We can take the time to get to know each other, build a trust and doctor-patient relationship. And that is the foundation of being able to heal, helping someone heal, right? They have to trust, they have to have a buy-in, they have to understand. So the education part, we now have more time to stop and educate people. And we have an opportunity to actually dig deeper and find the root cause of why someone is going through whatever they're going through and come up with solutions, not just say, here's a prescription.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because, I too have been going to the doctor's office and it felt like what you call it, a conveyor belt. They just, they have their computer with them. They check your heart index next, just keep, just prescribe something to you. And I do recall, years ago, people, the doctors did used to sit down, listen to you, talk to you, build a relationship with you. And a lot of that has gone with it from my, experiences. So I'm so glad to hear that you say you take time, you listen, because if you listen, you learn, and like I say, and you build relationships with people. Even I guess you get to even know their lifestyle sometime and how you can best help them even more. And so,
Exactly.
mhm.
I always say individuals are their own best doctor. They know their bodies better than I do. I will never know it as well as they do, right? Of course, I understand the science better. Of course, I understand how this medicine is going to work with them better or not. But they understand their body. And so we have to be a team. I can't tell you what to do. I can't just say, here. I have to first listen, gather the information, and then we can work together to come up with a plan that can actually work for you. Because I could also tell you, hey, do A, B, and C. But what if A, B, and C will never work for you? That's just not who you are. It won't work for your lifestyle. It won't work for your resources. It won't work for your environment. So I have to be able to gather all of that information and give you, maybe it's D, E, F that's going to work better for you. And if I stopped and I listened, I can gather that and be able to provide you that better level of care.
Let me ask you this too. The National Black Unity Music is geared towards Black people. Now, we do not put down any group or race of people, but we just trying to equal the playing field.
Hmm.
And we as Black melanated people, we had come up, most of us come from the South, and, our parents or our grandparents, our ancestors mostly come from the South. And we had all types of habits that was handed down to us because we ate what they gave us. And then
Hmm.
we turned it into something that was at least palatable, whatever they gave us.
Hmm.
But a lot of those things was not healthy for us. But then again, back in the day we did have because we was farmers and we grew our own fruits and
Exactly.
vegetables and things like that. And we because of the lifestyle, we moved around. People got up early in the morning, went to bed late at
You're
night,
nailing
and
it.
it was constantly busy. But today, this fast food, fast paced world, everybody moving swiftly and fast. Nutritional levels, even in the food service itself, just the food alone, do not have too much, nutritional value to it. And people, I guess you see all types of people that come in with all types of ailments and everything. I too have been through so much
Mhm.
physically, spiritually, as well as mentally.
Wow.
And I guess a lot of that is interrelated. But
Yeah.
far as Black people is concerned, and a lot of us are shell shy, as I like to put it. going to the doctor because we have a fear factor that something will be wrong. And another thing is because we know that most of us do not do the proper exercise or eat the proper meals and stuff like that. So how do you deal with people who come from that type of lifestyle? How do you try to get them or to treat them so they can have a better quality of life?
So definitely, I take a multifaceted approach to doing that. Number one, first understand, and let's just back up a little bit. I do think we have to appreciate the fact that black the black experience in medicine has not been the best because of the different exposures, the different tests, and the different injustices that have been done to us in the healthcare system. And on top of that, you come into a system right now where, again, you're not listening, no one's listening to you, things are moving so fast, you're not getting heard, and they're shoving you out the door with a medication. And unfortunately, it's not all the doctor's fault. I will say that the system has been built where we have these computers, we have regulations, we have insurance companies, we have administrators, people who are not doctors making all the rules. So it does make it hard. So I'm not saying doctors are just horrible. We are not doing a great job. I'm saying the system is stacked against the doctors, but it's also the black experience has been horrible from the beginning. And so the trust factor is something that we have to first try to address. We have to build trust. And so again, it comes right down to building that relationship, talking and communicating and listening and appreciating their experience. So that's number one. The second part is understanding that experience and then being able to help them educate them. So if they understand that, number one, you're culturally speaking, and the way that your grandparents and great grandparents ate, we can no longer do that for several reasons. Like you mentioned, they had a completely different lifestyle. So even if, let's just say they still ate the same exact foods, which the foods are so much different now. The foods are different. They're with modern farming, genetically modified foods. Foods are highly super processed. They're just not the same foods that you had in the South 50, 60, 70, even 30, 20 years ago, right? It's just different. So that's the one factor. And the things that they've pumped into it to mass produce, to be able to make profit. And unfortunately, they place it a lot of times in our communities, the worst of the worst in our communities. So we have access to a poor food supply. That's number one. And educating them on that, helping them to make better decisions and choices and understanding what to pick and how to pick is key. Also understanding that the way your grandparents and your great grandparents lived, and even your aunties and uncles lived, especially in the South, they were walking, they were getting up in the morning, they were farming, they were moving, they were hanging out at this cousin's house and walking down the road to that cousin's house. We have a completely different lifestyle. We are very sedentary. And unfortunately, all of these things compounded with the systemic factors are working against us. And unfortunately, the Black community have the highest rates of almost every disease that we have, or especially the cardiometabolic diseases, so heart attacks, strokes, heart disease, period, diabetes, obesity. And when we even look into the maternity rates of maternity death, infant mortality, all these rates are just a lot higher than almost every other group. And so there's systemic factors that we have to try to help address, help them help our community to understand how to address them, how to advocate for themselves. That's another tool, self-advocacy. But education and trust is probably the foundation of where we need to start. And then the tools, which is again, at my clinic, we have a lot of the tools to also help you. Once we get that first part in place, then we have the tools to help you get through that process of figuring out what's going on. How do we treat it? How do we manage? How do we reverse? Because we can reverse a lot of these diseases.
Let me ask you this then. Now I know, like I say, you see so much that come through there, and you chose this particular field because you just said you really want to help people. But even in my world, with media and everything, much as I want to help people, sometimes, how do you say? Sometimes a prophet is not even welcome in his own home. Sometimes here you come with information that can increase their quality of life, and just increase their life. Period.
Mhm.
And but then the people that you are trying to help the most sometimes may resist or mentally are not able to make them those changes that their lifestyle that they've been living for so long. And from I'm just like I say on both sides of the track. That much as you want to help people, What are some of the problems that you see when you want to help people? And what kind of stuff that happens to your patients where you want to help and they resist? That how does that settle with you? What do you do about that? I mean, how does it make? I can imagine the frustration that it could be that you know that you can help people like live better, but yet they for some reason mentally or spiritually they not at that level or something yet. So how do you deal with that on a consistent basis?
Try to find out their why. I try to
Mm.
find out why do you not want to get better? Or why do you, if you want to get better, help them understand their why too. Sometimes they don't have it sorted out. So why would you want to reverse this diabetes? And again, the education comes into play, having that conversation, the building the trust, the talking. But I do, of course, have barriers, or we have people that we talked about the why, we've done this, we've done that, but we're still stuck. And then and of course, I won't say frustrating. It's probably maybe a bit disappointing when you know that there's so much potential in just making such a small change can really impact their lives in such a great way and improve their quality. They won't have to walk around with so much pain, or even not immediate quality, but the future quality. And that's one of the issues too. So to get to answering your question, how do I handle it? I try to educate. I show them, number one, try to figure out their why, and they're worthy, trying to help them feel worthy enough to feel better. That's another big factor. Not We don't always feel worthy. I don't deserve to. And it sounds crazy, but it's facts.
Yes,
I
it
think
is.
if you
Yeah.
go down and realize, am I worthy enough of being able to walk across the room without feeling aches and pains, without feeling dizzy or lightheaded, without feeling short of breath? The pain in my knees because of the extra weight or this and that. Like, am I worthy enough to be able to say, you know what, I want to make a change. I want to exercise a little bit more. I want to eat a little bit better. So helping them realize that worthiness. And sometimes, like you said, there's the depression, there's the stress, there's the life factors that's going to distract. And we probably, honestly, until we address some of those things, like maybe the therapy, maybe the counseling, maybe the healing that needs to happen, we sometimes have to stop and put everything on the back burner, as crazy as it sounds, and deal with that first, because you can't get far if you're dealing with mental health or some other major life stressor. And then, so being realistic, sometimes you just have to be real for you, your expectations for the patient, and their expectations as well. And so, yes, it's frustrating, and a lot of times, you have to just figure out how to work through it and keep encouraging them. And it may not happen today, it may not happen next month, but it may happen next year. And I've seen that. I've seen people finally come to it after working with them for 4 years, for 5 years, that they finally make the move. And every small change will get us somewhere. So we don't want to also overlook that, right? Maybe it may not be the remarkable, I'm exercising 30 minutes every day for 5 days a week. Maybe it's just 10 minutes a day once a week. That is some move. So looking at it in that big picture, so I can't say that I'm ever frustrated or disappointed, because I know how life can get, and from personal experiences. And sometimes you plan to do all these great things and it just doesn't happen. And then there's also, like I said, the mental factors that could keep us back, and we have to get through that and understand that. But I think the biggest factor is realizing that we're worthy of being healthier.
Yeah. Let me ask you this then. On the same note, uh, and I can speak. Like I said, I like to keep things real, and I'm mission driven myself personally,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm 73 years old. Be 74 in a few months, and,
Hmm.
and and mentally, I feel like I'm just getting out of high school. I got so much
Love
to
it.
do, so
Love
many
that.
places to go. But uh, I'm overweight now. In the last several years, I done had open heart surgery. I had a stroke, cancer, hip replacement, and all of these things. And I think before several years ago, it was probably stress. I had a lot of stress on me because I wanted to do so much, and mentally, but spiritually, I'm a strong person as well. But individuals like myself who are busy, we want to do this, want to come, but there's a lot of setbacks, ups and downs, ins and outs. And then and with all of this going on, and then your lifestyle. We are not the healthiest people because, like I said, we zipping here and there. We don't get the proper rest. and we eat the wrong foods and stuff like that. But yet we have an agenda. We want to do these things. We want to, go out there and change the world. And we meet people like yourself who come
Hmm.
along and say, "Hey, you can do a little this and do a little of that," and we know that you're right. We
Hmm.
know that you can ask, and even the Bible says you can add some years to your life, or you can take some away. But people like David Murphy, if I come to you, like I say, open and honest,
Hmm.
and just based on the things I just told you, and I tell you, I do need help. I do want to have a better quality of life. I do want to see I have great grandchildren. I do want to see them, if I can get another 10, 20, 30 years out of life, I would love to see them up. But what would you say to somebody? And I know, like I said, I have a choice to make, to give me. So when a person like a David Murphy approach you, and I say, well, these are the things in my life right now. And but I had this. It could be something I may not be aware. It could be a mental thing. It could be a spiritual thing. It even be a financial thing. With
Exactly.
all of these things, all of these factors come in there. I want to do these things, but maybe my budget's not right. Maybe this is not right. Maybe this is that. How do you in consultation? How do you deal with somebody like me?
We meet you where you're at. I try to find out what can you do, right? So if it's a financial issue, we have to maybe make a plan that you can afford. If it's a mental health issue or if it's a mental block, we have to work through that. And it may take several visits for us to kind of work through that why, the worthiness, the stressors, how to stress management, all the things. So we may have to do a system. Nothing can be done overnight. And that's just keeping it real. Like if I were to tell you, you come to see me today, next week you're going to be better, that would not be accurate. This is a journey, right? And I always say that I'm more of your guide and you're the driver. You get to go as fast as you want or as slow as you want. But the point is, I'm going to try to guide you into the right steps. Take the step A, B, and C, or you can take A, C, and D, but we're going to take steps to kind of get you closer to that goal. And you told me your goals in the beginning. You want to live longer. You want 20 or 30 more years. You want to spend time with your grandkids. So that sounds to me like you don't want to be in a nursing home when you're 70 or 80, right? Or so you want to keep moving. And so we're going to try to implement all those things that can get you there. So usually in my first consult with a person, we sit down and we talk about goals, we talk about their journey so far, what have been their struggles. So I get to learn all that. And then we come up with a game plan. And I like to actually spend a moment of education. So I explain to them an overview. So like let's say you're dealing with your osteoarthritis or you're dealing with your heart disease. Like what are the underlying factors? What's driving this? If you also understand the why, that if you eat X, Y, or Z, and really truly understand how it's really impacting the cells in your body and driving this really bad issue. Like I tell you, you drink this soda, and this is facts. You drink a soda, the sugar in there is going to cause inflammation throughout your whole body, from your brain to your gut, but to your joints. So that osteoarthritis that you're feeling is going to be a lot worse when you have all that sugar in your body. And you tell someone that why, the underlying reason why, it helps drive them a little closer to making a change. And so, again, I have more time for that. I can slow down. I can explain that to you, and then we come up with a game plan. We're going to work on this week. And that's usually what I do with my patients. This week, we're going to work on X today. Then the following week, we're going to work on Y. And it's slowly before they look at it, it's 5 months have gone by, and they're like, "Wow, I'm so proud." I hear this every day. I'm so proud of the changes I've made. I'm so proud of myself. I feel better. And even today, I had someone like, so her weight loss journey, she initially lost a whole lot of weight, but now it's kind of slowing down. She said, but you know what? I'm realizing now it's not about the weight, and that's powerful. She realized she's feeling so good. And we have some tools in the clinic where I look at your muscle mass and your fat mass. So it's so powerful too that you can actually look at things and see that. So I may not have dropped 20 pounds this month like I did the couple months before, or 15 pounds or 5 pounds, but I lost 5 pounds instead of 15 pounds. But look at my muscle, it went up. Look at my fat mass, it went down. So I know I'm getting healthier. And so you have objective things you can look at, you feeling better, and you are mentally just more powerful and cognitively more clear, and that is everything. So when someone tells me they are feeling great, I know that we have done our job. So it may not always be everything all at once, but you can slowly see the changes. And I'm always encouraged by that. And we may have months where we're not seeing any of that, where we're just stalled. Life happens. Mom is sick. Daughter is in the hospital. Things go crazy. We
Mm-hmm.
may have months like that, but we're real people, we're humans, and we have to figure out ways to navigate when those things happen in the future, but we also have to give ourselves grace. And and this is the other thing I think: getting healthy, losing weight, this whole journey, it shouldn't be a stressor, another stress, right? I don't want people always like walking around, oh my God, I have to lose weight 24/7. They're thinking about, I'm overweight, I need to lose weight. No, that's not what this is about. This is about getting healthy, getting on a journey, creating a lifestyle. And then again, you look around and it'll be 5 months, 6 months, a year later, and you're like, wow, I am so happy and I'm so proud of myself. And I'm telling you, this is for real. This is what happens when you really tap into your why and you stop focusing on the numbers and you look at this from a bigger picture. And this is again what we try to do and develop at my clinic and just my approach to taking care of people. So being discouraged between me and them, I try not to encourage that. Like, try, we can always get up and do better if we did fall, if we did realize we had a bad day or a bad week or a bad month. We get up and we keep going.
Well, that's good news. Now, let me ask you this then. Now, again, I just mentioned to you that when I go to the doctor's office, it's rush in and rush out,
Hmm.
and I personally don't feel that they have my best interests at heart. And by me being in the type of field I am, I do know some of the data from the medical, institutions that they have not treated us with the utmost respect or equal as they would do with other people.
Hmm.
And so I'm aware of all of this. And I get people come to me all the time with information to what happened to them personally as what happened to us collectively. And but this is not fair, but it's kind of normal in this country here in the United States. But I always believe on a spiritual tip, God always raises up a remnant of people
Hmm.
who will confront those type of issues, who will dedicate their lives and services to help those to right those wrongs. And I'm getting a strong feeling that you're one of those type of people. To even consider that because I've met a few doctors. Like I said, I like to keep things real, and they do care about their patients, about people in general, about their well-being. And because you mentioned something earlier that the way the system is set up, it's about profits, not about people. And like you said, it's all types of administrators. The bottom line. And like you said, it's not the doctor's fault all the time. It's just that they have, they under the gun and they got to get to that. They only have a certain amount of time to do this and to do that. And like I say, I've been around the block once or twice, and I do recall when people had private practices. You can go quite, but it's very difficult now to even find someone who have a private practice because they all caught up in the system, man. That's the only way most of them get paid. And so, and I don't, this is, you don't have to answer this, but was there a great sacrifice for you to come out, to be in the system or come out the system to do your own thing, so to speak, so that you can do it your way, the way that you see is best to help you and as well as to help others.
Absolutely, I'll answer that. It definitely has been a sacrifice. I definitely left a situation where, I had a job. I didn't have to think about a lot of the overhead things and running a business. I was just going in and leaving, and I was able to not have to. I can go home at night and not worry about what my business is doing and how my business is doing and what bills I have to do for this business or that business, and is it going to be sustainable. I didn't have to worry about any of that. So it definitely takes some level of courage or madness to decide to walk away from that kind of security and decide to do this on your own. But I really, really believed in what I had to offer in the model that I wanted to present to the world. And I had to do it. So I have never regretted, even on those had hard days when I'm like, what is this or what's going on, or there's definitely some struggle, and but I have never said I wish I never did this, right? Because I know it's for a greater good. I know that I'm serving people, and I know it sounds quite idealistic, but I truly really believe that I am doing this for to serve my community better. And it's taken, and maybe taken a little bit to get everyone on board with the to leave the insurance model and move to my model, and I'll explain my model a little bit more in a bit. But I haven't regretted it. It has been hard, it has been challenging, and but I'm still going, and I'm still excited about it.
Again, like I said, I truly appreciate you for taking that stand.
Hmm.
Like you said, you could have been just about, about yourself, and like you said, how somehow they would say in the fairy tale, live happily ever after.
Hmm.
But like you say, you chosen a path that like you said, there is challenge, and life always will have challenge in one form or another. But the road that you decide to take, again, I just want to thank you, and I appreciate you for that. But I just want I want those who will be seeing this interview, because
Hmm.
this is life and death for some of us. And like I said, because of the quality of life that we are living today is not too good. But to find someone like yourself
Hmm.
who's willing to take the time to talk to us,
Hmm.
to listen to us, and to give your experiences, how we can have a better quality of life. And you kind of cover all of it. Now you mentioned the physical part, so tell me something. Like I say, I mentioned something about mentally and stuff like that. Do you have people that come in there, like you say, because all this part, I guess all of it kind of looped together, the physical, the mental, even spiritual part of it, all of that, all that's one. But at the same time, uh, tell us about some of the services, like I say, to heal the whole person, so to speak, that you provide. I mean, the whole man, like I say, the physical, I don't, if you're good at spiritual, I don't know. But there's all types of, we are somewhat confused today. I know I'm jumping all over the place, but we are somewhat confused. That's why I say when I come to a person like you, because I'm confused. Because we got people who's been this holistic thing. They say this is the way to go, and then you have people
There's so much
say
out
this is the way to go, and we have this big thing. They say take this pill, don't take this pill, and
there. Hmm.
all of this confusion come in, and then like most people say, a confused mind pretty much does nothing. It just stop.
Yeah, yeah, I
Look,
hear that.
and so when we come to someone like you, and I got all these other people in my ear, hold it over here, and then I got these people in my ear over here, all I want to do is live a healthier, a better quality. I just want to be healthy, be able to do the tasks that need to be done physically as well as mentally. And so when we come to a person like you, and I tell you this is my state of mind, I'm not sure because I'm not an expert either there. I don't know which way to go. All I know, I have one goal in mind. I just
Hmm.
want to be healthy, wealthy,
Okay.
and wise, as they say.
Okay, so to tackle that part of your question where you're like, where do you go? Holistic, functional medicine, all these things. So I actually have blended the worlds, right? I had my a rigorous training in my residency program at Penn State, where we're very evidence-based, very research oriented. We go by the book, the standard of care. This is what the rules are. This is how you do it. So I have that background and that foundation. But over the years, I've had done my own studies, my own research, my own courses, my own programs to kind of expand on that and figure out not just hey, what's the prescription for this and what's the medical treatment or the procedure to treat that from the strictly westernized type of medicine standpoint, but I have looked at the more holistic approaches, the more natural approaches, the more lifestyle approaches and I've been able to work to blend those two together, making sure it's safe. I'm not telling you to go do this herb that can interact with this medicine that you're already on that you may need to still be on for now. So I'm able to, because of my background and my experiences, to fuse those two together because I do see value in both, right? And so we can work together and find. And then what do you value? Do you value the more natural? Because I have people who are like, I don't want to be on another medicine. And I have to respect that. Maybe, and sometimes I mean, might be a little bit of like a conversation because they really need the medicine. But we have to find that middle ground where we can both know I'm giving them the best possible I can, but in a way that they can receive it. Because if there's that person who wants nothing to do with medicine, I have to meet them there or try to convert them a little bit. Let's find some middle ground. And so because of my background, I can merge those two and help guide you a little bit better. And I really have taken the time to, unlike what they trained us in school about nutrition and about lifestyle, about exercise, I've actually taken the time to learn these things a little bit better so I can actually guide you a little bit better on those things. And so that's to kind of answer that question about, where do I go, what is better? And will things change? And have I evolved in my thinking? I'm also going to be humble enough to tell you yes, because I was definitely the fully westernized doctor after I left my training at Penn State, and I was doing it like by the book, strictly what the pharmaceutical companies wanted me to do. And that's exactly what I was doing. And I haven't abandoned that completely, but I've merged a lot of what I know. So if there's a natural way to do this, then I will do that again in the safest possible way. So in terms of the guidance, that's for sure. But I guess that was part of your question. Did you want to clarify the second part for me?
We will be back after this message.
Direct primary care, DPC, is healthcare the way it should be: personal, accessible, and focused entirely on you. At Pure Health, your monthly membership gives you unlimited visits, direct access to your doctor, and more time during each appointment to truly be heard and cared for. There are no co-pays, no insurance hassles, and no rushing through your concerns. Patients love DPC because it brings peace of mind, knowing they have a trusted partner in their health who's just a call or text away. Whether you need a quick visit, chronic disease management, or simply want to stay ahead of your wellness goals, DPC puts the relationship back at the center of medicine. Direct primary care at Pure Health. Ditch the wait times, rushed visits, and surprise bills. With direct primary care, DPC, at Pure Health, you get unlimited access to your doctor for one flat monthly fee, no insurance required. Same day or next day appointments. Direct access to Dr. Charis James via text, phone, or email. Unlimited visits with no copayments. Annual physicals, chronic care, and preventive screenings including PAPs. Discounts on labs, IVs, aesthetics, and supplements. A compassionate, whole-person approach to your care. Weight loss services at Pure Health. Ready to take control of your health. Our personalized weight loss program combines medical insight with holistic strategies to help you lose weight and keep it off, safely and sustainably. Evidence-based weight loss medications, GLP-1s like semaglutide, low-carb nutrition plans and intermittent fasting support, metabolic testing and body composition analysis, weekly check-ins and ongoing accountability for nutrient support and fat-burning injections, tailored plans to reverse diabetes, PCOS, and more. Start your weight loss journey with us. 443-842-4027. PureHealthAndWellness.com.
Welcome back. Basis. And so now that you have that individual attention now. And then you can able to sit now. You can guide me because before it was just me dealing with the world. Now we had somebody like you in front of us saying, "Well, I can help you, but these are some of the things you have to do." And then on a consistent basis, if I continue to come see you, you can treat me even better. Say, Dave, you got some little bit of improvement here. You need to do this and this, that. Maybe you might say to me, on a mental, you might need to slow down. And, here's some relaxation tips or something like that. And so again, when somebody comes to me naturally, just like I just said to you, before I had this conversation, I know you do these things now, but if I come to you and saying, this is my lifestyle. I'm here, there, and everywhere. And I deal with so many business owners that's in the same boat as I am.
Mhm.
We want to run the race, but we have these ailments and aches and pains that knocks us down on a consistent basis, and most of it because our habits in life. We don't take care of ourselves physically, mentally, and sometimes even spiritually. And I'm asking you these questions because I'm seeking myself, and I do know that the people that I deal with, and I deal with quite a few people,
Mhm.
they are seeking as well.
Mhm.
And because we don't come across people like you too often,
Mhm.
very rare, not this day and time.
Mhm.
And so in our mindsets, the system that we are accustomed to, we get pushed in and pushed out.
Mhm.
And so I just want you to explain to me as well as to those who will hear this podcast again. I want you to repeat the type of services that how you can help us so that we can help ourselves, especially Black melanated people.
I'll go through the services in a moment, but let me just say this. A lot of what we can do to help ourselves, they cost very little. The way we sleep, the way what we choose not to eat, right? These little things cost us nothing. So just sitting down with me for a moment and maybe going through those little changes that you can shift your day have a very big impact on your journey. So what you choose not to eat and not to eat, that's almost very little shift in. How the times you're going to bed, how well you're going to bed, the air, the quality of the air, the quality of the water, the environment that you choose to put yourself in. These little things cost you nothing. You could probably, and even the exercises that you can do and how you can implement it into your busy schedule to make it work for you. All this can't can be very affordable if they're actually free. So, with that being said, my services. So, first of all, at the basis of what I offer is the direct primary care program. The direct primary care program is a membership-based model. So, it's like the fancy concierge medicine that, a lot of the rich execs and movie stars have at their disposal. You get that for a whole lot less, right? You get to have same day, next day appointments with your doctor. You get to have access to my cell phone and you can call and text me anytime. You have longer appointments. You can get in there. You don't have to wait when you get to the office because we're set up that way. Once you get in the office, we can sit there for an hour. We can sit there for 20 minutes, whatever your schedule wants. And you get prompter results review. You get a longer review, more in-depth review. So again, you can understand yourself better. I do house calls, I do advocacy. That's a big part of what I do. For example, I had a patient who recently had surgery and she was actually having appendicitis and she was sitting in the ER for a little bit too long. So I showed up at the ER, had some conversations with the ER and the surgeon, ER docs and the surgeon, and got things moving along for her. And even after the surgery, I was checking in. The surgeon was called. Now that he knows the primary care doctor is on this, he's moving a little bit differently. And he's called me and given me updates, and her quality of care just improved. And I could tell because she had someone there advocating for her. After surgeries, I show up at your house. If your blood pressure is running high, you don't have to um, pull yourself out of bed and come to the office. I can come to you. So you get all of that,
Hmm.
right? The price is, in my opinion, phenomenal because I don't bill insurance. I don't deal with insurance at all. So I can really give care the way I want to. I could if I wanted to, but I choose to do it this way to keep the model pure so I don't have the influence of insurance tainting this model and making it harder for me to give this type of care. So again, at the basis of what I do is the direct primary care. And after that, and if we have to talk about a price, it's $1,200 a year for is the average price a person would pay for a whole year to get this service, right? That's less than a phone bill. And you could see me 5 times a month. You could see me 20 times a month. No, nothing changes. It's that same price. You can get house calls, this, that, whatever, all the typical primary care needs. You get that in a monthly rate of about $100 a month. And then the next thing we have is the weight management. So again, as a obesity medicine specialist, I do have a component of my practice where I focus mostly on weight management. So that visit is a comprehensive, we take a comprehensive approach to the whole program. You meet me for the first visit, we get to know you and your journey. We understand all your past medical history, your medications, interactions, and we come up with a game plan. I educate you very heavily in that first session and subsequent sessions. And we try to meet weekly if it works for your schedule, either virtually or in person. And that's a good way to keep you accountable, to give you check-in. And a lot of what I do is health coaching, right? Motivate
Mm.
you going on to stay on track. And it's been highly successful. We also use our biometric scan, which looks at your body mass in terms of water mass, fat mass, and muscle mass. So we can really target areas and get and making sure that we're not, because you don't want to lose weight and lose mostly muscle. You want to lose fat. You want to actually hold on to your muscle and, if anything, build muscle. So the program is excellent, in my opinion, in the way that we approach weight loss and help people to actually see results. So we have the direct primary care, we have the weight management, and then we have some wellness services that helps all of these things. So you can see me for, there's like a host of things from IVs if it's necessary. I only do what I feel like it's necessary and what is actually safe. We do lots of like different things that we call PRP, like wellness procedures, where you can utilize your own body's, like for example, the platelets. We extract your blood and we remove platelets from it, and the platelets are rich in growth factors, and we re-inject it into the body in places like the joints for healing, hair for hair regrowth. So there's a lot of those other wellness services that we do. There's peptides and hormone replacement therapy as well. And then we do light aesthetic things. So like again, that PRP, you can use it for like the hair restoration that we do, a little bit of skin health and skin rejuvenation effects. So that's a broad range of what we do, and we do have different people in the staff that help support those different areas. But a bulk of what I do is, and my passion is my direct primary care and my weight management.
Wow, you kind of blew my mind on this one, though. I think you got a new patient right now. So,
I think
yes,
it's,
sir.
I'm not bragging, but or maybe I am, but I think it's such an amazing model, and I think and once people get it, they love it and they tell other people about it. But it's just getting, more and more people to learn about this model. It's a newer model, even though it's been around for about a decade as well. And it's growing really well in other parts of the country and in different communities, but it's a little hard. And me and myself, and there's a few of us who do similar things in the area. And we've noticed that it's just a little bit harder to grow in this area. But we have the faith, and we are so passionate all about what we do. And we know when people really learn about this or really try it out, they love it. They don't usually don't leave once
Well,
they
let me
go.
just say this. Let me just say this to you. I'm so glad I had this conversation. See, on a spiritual tip, there's a
Hmm.
thing about being sent. It's a reason why this took place.
Yes.
And,
Hmm.
and um, and I'm definitely going to be one of your patients. I'm already sold. But you know what? The good thing about it is the way God works is
Hmm.
this. I'm gonna come to you. I'm gonna lay it on it, but I'm going to be obedient because I do want to live. I
Hmm.
do want to have a better. I mean, I really do. And but at the same time, I want people to see your work. Because with the paper, the National Black, I do these things because I'm like yourself. I really do love my people.
Hmm.
I even consider myself a servant of service. That's what I call myself. See, I
Servant,
serve
servant.
people who serve people, and
Yeah.
and you are servant, in many ways. And but I do see in what I do, is of course it's communication,
Hmm.
and for us to live, I keep saying this word, a better quality of life.
Hmm.
Then we have to be well rounded, and without our help, we have nothing. You can have all the money in
Nailed
the
it.
world, and if you don't have your help, you would give every penny of it.
And I literally was going to say that when you said to me, I don't have time for this, but illness will make you make time. You will have to stop everything when you're ill to make time. So make the time now so you don't have illness forcing you to make time later.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you took the time to spend with me this evening because I'm coming to see you, and I'm going to encourage other people to see you as well because you are very rare. in this day and time for what you do and why you do it. And again, I just want to commend you and I want to thank you personally for sharing this with me because see now I know a little bit more about your services and about who you are personally. But at the same time, there let me ask you this,
Mhm.
this is I know this is personal, but what are your aspirations for your business, etc.? Are you planning to just stay here? Would you like to have other offices and other locations? What are your aspirations for your service?
Of course, growth would be the biggest thing for it to grow. Of course, I would love to see it become more because to make it more accessible to more people, I would like to see multiple locations eventually one day. But just in the beginning, I want to see it grow. I want to see us serving people. I want to see us changing lives and making people feel better. And so that it's just naturally and more organically that it will grow when everyone else sees, wow, this is really changing. And changing lives and changing people and changing mindsets. And I will say that a big component, you mentioned faith and spirituality. A big part of what Pure is based on faith and spirituality. And I know God will lead us into exactly where we need to be. And I do believe well, I do believe that the one of our missions is actually to really help uplift people spiritually. They'll be fed in so many ways, physically, mentally, emotionally, but spiritually will be one of those. And I can't tell you how many times we're having prayer sessions, but mostly though, I see a lot of my patients end up blessing me. They come in there and they bless me with a word. They bless me with their spirit. And that is just so motivating to keep me going and to keep this practice going. So I do want to see it grow. I would love to see that multiple locations happen so more people can have access to this type of care and we could leave the I don't want to use the word toxic, but maybe it's a little bit of more of a toxic environment when we have the typical healthcare model that is currently existing with insurance really just taking over and dominating and making it a for-profit only model. So I would love to see people leave that or at least be able to get the better quality of care that they deserve. That's my hope and dream for this, for Pure and for my community.
It's something about education, then. Because I love what you're doing. I really do. And there may be quite a few other folks who may be coming up who may be in the medical profession or something like that. Would you be, I mean, is there any plans to maybe one day that you could train them as well to do what you do?
So usually I would love to do that. Usually with residency programs, you can do rotations in different clinics and different practices in different spaces. So when I did family medicine, I rotated with different family medicine doctors. I rotated with actually a lot of different, like in the hospital with pediatrics and different things. So I absolutely would love to be able to open up my doors to doctors in training and I do have actually this summer a couple pre-med students who will be shadowing me. So I embrace education and educating people for themselves, for their health, but also educating people to continue to do what I do.
Wow, this is amazing, and I just want to thank you. I'm going to let you go because I have all I need. I'm so sold out on what you shared with me because you are God sent, and my prayers are being answered now because,
That
like I
sounds
said, like I mentioned to you before, I'm desperately seeking because, like I said, I do want to live better. And but the way the system's set up, I don't see that happening. With them because they can say they only take time to listen to you. They give you a bunch of pills and send you out there. And I think the young lady who introduced Miss Catherine Brown.
Mhm.
She and I go love it. She said, David, I'm willing to help you, to get your life, back on track. Cause she's known before a long time. She introduced me to you. And so to me now, there's no more excuses. None
Could I
whatsoever.
say a lot of the people that I see that are very successful on their journey to get healthy and to get better, they start with just that. I really want this. What you said, that's all you need to start. So anyone who just wants to be better, just feel healthier, that's all you need to get started. And I have seen it over and over that you will be successful. I can hear that. You can almost hear that determination in their voice, and I just heard it in you.
Okay. Well, Miss Charis James, it's been such a pleasure speaking with you. learning about your services. And this is just the beginning because, as I said, I will be an advocate for you, for you and your services because I do know it can not only help me, but it can help us. And it's a lot of us out there. and,
It
um,
turns some of these numbers
and,
around. Yeah.
and I come across so many people with so many dreams and aspirations, but I also, unfortunately, in the National Black Unity News, in the
Mhm.
last 4 years, we lost 5 or 6 editors from different age brackets, and I must say they were all health related.
We can only go as far. We can only change the world as far as our health will allow us to. So you
Mhm.
have to put this first. You have to.
Yes, and so I just want to thank you for your time. Now, any parting word that you want those who will be hearing this interview, any parting words about your service, yourself that you would like to share?
I think we said a lot of what I needed to say. I do offer free 15-minute meet and greets for any of the services, whether it's the direct primary care or the weight management, or even one of the wellness, if you want to do a wellness or aesthetic service. We can meet virtually or in person. I'd love to have you come over to the practice and meet the practice, and we can talk about your goals and figure out quickly within that 15 minutes whether or not you want it's something that would work for you. And you can go online and sign up on my website. It's www.purehealthandwellnessdpc.com. So that's a quick way to get them to be able to sign up or to book that 15-minute meet or greet. And you can call us at 443-842-4027. But really just want to encourage everyone to like really put your health first because again, if you want to see yourself make it to your 60s, your 70s, your 80s, and even your 90s independently, not bound to in a bed, not having people take care of you. You want to have that quality even in those later years. And a lot of us are living longer, but how are we living longer? You have to put your health first now. So I really encourage you, and not just when you learn something about health that's really working for you, share that. I encourage my patients when you learn something from me that you feel like it's working for you, share that with someone else so that our communities can really be healthier.
Okay. I thank you so much for your time, your input, and the services that you provide. And this interview is now concluded. We have a very important message from our sponsor. Also, the information you can find to reach Dr. Charis James. Thank you.
The National Black Unity News key strategy is the aggressive pursuit of providing Black business owners and services with the most effective and diverse means of connecting to their target customer, Black people. The National Black Unity News presents information from a variety of sources in a unified way. We focus our attention on the international, national, state, county, city, and local communities. We offer newspapers, business members directories, online podcasting, live networking events, and social and business networking. Our ultimate goal is to furnish businesses with a convenient way to market and advertise their products and services with affordable yet effective results. We also will provide a multitude of services that will educate and inform our consumer base so that they can support Black businesses and services.
The National Black Unity News objective is to provide our Black people a way to enhance their quality of life. We offer services such as consumer protection information. We provide articles, workshops, and seminars to give insight into our Black businesses and services. We will offer a variety of subjects from buying peanut butter to purchasing a home. The bottom line is that we will offer information so that all can have an opportunity to be healthy, wealthy, and wise.
The National Black Unity News is dedicated to providing our participants with result-oriented advertising and marketing support. We are committed to providing products and services that benefit our people. The National Black Unity News is the top circulated Black newspaper in the United States and beyond. We are self-supported and self-sufficient. We do not depend on outside entities to sustain us.
Our focus is to support Black businesses and Black people. We design our services so that they are affordable so that all can participate. Even the most challenging budget, you can participate with us. The bottom line is this: no one is coming to save us but us. God has blessed you with a vision, business, or service, then pick up the phone and call us. Let's talk.
You do not have to carry the full load. Help is here. The time is now. Help us to help you, so that we can help ourselves. The National Black Unity News, a newspaper for you and by you. Helping us to help ourselves.